This is TWiT.
It sounds like you guys are doing tracking of users. Does that make you the bad guys? I say this very tongue in cheek, but this is something that, people kind of go back and forth and in some cases is really a problem. How do you do analytics without being over the top about it? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we've gone through a lot of trial and error here to figure out what works and what doesn't. So at the very beginning, like I said, with this package manager, these kinds of phoning home telemetry mechanisms proved to be very, very unpopular with end users. And so ultimately what we do is we try to navigate the opinions of the open source community about what's good and what's not when it comes to analytics and telemetry. And so today we're actually able to give maintainers quite a lot of information without tracking any personally identifiable information whatsoever. Even just the notion of, if your open source package had 10,000 downloads this week, how many of those downloads were unique? Or what companies were behind those downloads? Or where in the world were they coming from? And we can expose a lot of that data to maintainers without actually tracking any individually or personally identifiable data, which I think is some of the key innovations here. And one of the things that we've learned from trying various mechanisms for collecting this information is that really what was really unpopular with people was the idea of like these analytics calls that send data off to some, to Scarf or, whoever, some third party. And so instead what we do is we try to actually augment package registries is one of our primary ways of collecting this data. And that way the data can really be captured and exposed to maintainers without instrumenting any code, without any kind of phoning home, which is much more accepted by end users and gets maintainers really valuable data, which kind of seems to alleviate both ends of this. But really, to answer your question, yes, we're happy to, we're trying to navigate and are okay being the bad guy while we figure out what is the best way to do these kinds of things. And at the end of the day, maintainers need this data and we'll figure out how to get it to them.